What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I am your grateful host, Jeff Rose. And for those that aren't new here, you know that I continue to get more and more excited about cryptocurrency, whether that be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Baby, it goes on and on and on and on.
Well, if you are here, well, welcome. I'm glad that you are here. Get comfortable, go ahead and take your shoes off, and I want you to stay a while. And while you're doing that, you might as well hit that subscribe button and notification bell if you have some interest in investing in cryptocurrency and hacking your wealth, because that's what the Wealth Hacker channel is all about.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
So in regards to cryptocurrency, I was not an early adopter by any stretch. In fact, I found this old video that I recorded back in December of 2017, where at that time, I didn't own any Bitcoin. Now, quick disclaimer, I have not invested into cryptocurrency or Bitcoin at this time. It wasn't until 3 months after that video went live that I finally made my first purchase into Bitcoin. And I put in a whopping $1,000. That's because back then I didn't fully understand it, but I still wanted to test it out to see how it works. Now, for those that don't remember, so going back to December of 2017, that is when the price of Bitcoin hit, at that time, an all-time high. And that was December 2017. We had a huge spike and then a crash. So it wasn't until March of 2018 that I made my first purchase. And maybe by that point you thought that I was ready to go all in and I became a Bitcoin millionaire. No, that's not what happened at all. Actually, it wasn't until November of 2019 that I finally made another purchase of more Bitcoin. What followed after that huge run back in December 2017 with that crash afterwards, what was referred to as the Bitcoin winter. Where the price of Bitcoin pretty much just stayed flat for almost 2 years. And after those larger purchases of Bitcoin and then opening another crypto exchange account with BlockFi, understanding what a stablecoin is, finding out about cryptocurrency savings accounts, and then expanding my cryptocurrency portfolio into other altcoins such as Ethereum and Dogecoin and Cardano, that's when I began to get even more excited about the crypto space.
Are you excited?
So whether you are a believer or a skeptic, you cannot deny that Bitcoin has survived test after test after test. In January of next year, 2022, it will have been around for 13 years. So it's not like this thing just started yesterday. And for those that are like, oh, well, it's too late, I've missed my chance, you also have to realize that only about 4% of the entire world has adopted cryptocurrency. So we are still at the very beginning of what potential could be. As you can tell, I'm pretty excited about cryptocurrency, but not just based on the potential. I'm also excited because I have seen some real life gains. I've made more money off cryptocurrency than I have in a lot of my stock picks, going back to some of the best picks that I've ever had. And what I want to do in this video is break down what are the 4 different ways that I have made money in cryptocurrency, so that if you have an interest that you want to get started but don't know how, I want to share the 4 ways that I'm making money right now. And the 4th way is the newest way. It might be the way that I'm most excited about. So let's go ahead and find out what these 4 ways are right now. All right, so the first way that I've made money on cryptocurrency is very much like how you would make money on any traditional investment, and that is by buying and holding. Let's actually jump over to my computer so that you can see some of the original purchases that I made with Bitcoin back in the beginning. Okay, we are in my Coinbase account, and this is where I made my first Bitcoin purchase. For those that are interested in crypto, you want to buy some Bitcoin, you're not really sure where to open an account, I would highly suggest Coinbase as a place to start. So as you can see, the time it's recording, Bitcoin is trading around $57,000 per coin. Here's where you can see my first Bitcoin purchase. This was March of 2018. I put in $1,000 and bought a fractional share. This one Bitcoin was trading at 93.86 per coin. So that was March of 2018. And then here is some of the additional purchases that I mentioned. So this is I put in just under 9,000, 88.67. This is when Bitcoin was trading at 88.10 per coin. So almost bought just over one full Bitcoin with that transaction. That was in November the 13th. I bought some more November 2021. Bitcoin was at 76.62. This is when I put in $10,000. So I almost bought 1.5 coins then. And then you can see some of the other purchases that happened there. Now what's crazy, some of those original purchases, when I went back and calculated how much I put in, I calculated that I put in almost $11,000 of some of those first purchases. And of those $11,000, my gains were like almost $180,000. I mean, that is insane. Could that still happen? I'm sure that it could, but obviously buying Bitcoin when it was trading $7,000, $8,000 a coin, when it's trading at $57,000 and it's hit a high of 65, 66, I mean, that's a pretty good return on your money.
Not bad at all.
Okay, as I mentioned, Bitcoin is not the only cryptocurrency that I have bought and hold and sitting on a really nice profit. Another altcoin that I purchased is Ethereum. I need to head over to my BlockFi account so you can see my Ethereum holdings, since that's where I'm holding currently most of my Ethereum. So this is my BlockFi account, just another cryptocurrency exchange. Right now, I've got $159,000 worth of Ethereum, but going back to one of my, I guess, bigger purchases. So let's pull this up, Ethereum. Going back, this is actually fairly recent. So a $50,000 purchase of Ethereum. You can see there's the $50,000, and here is the price that I bought that at. So Ethereum, I bought it at $24.06 per coin, so $2,400. And at the time of this recording, currently Ethereum is trading at 4,600, just to kind of give me an idea like where Ethereum is right now. So that is almost double. And that is just a few examples of the cryptocurrencies that I have bought, that I've made a nice profit, or at least I'm showing a profit. I know that you never technically have a profit until you actually sell, but right now I've got a nice gain in both of those two and other cryptocurrencies that I'm holding. Okay, the second way that I've been making money on cryptocurrency, and this way is just awesome. And for those that have any savings account, money market account at your bank, you understand how your bank is paying next to nothing.
0.0 what? Are you kidding me?
That's correct. That's how much my bank is paying. And just to show you how little my bank is paying, check out this interest deposit that just came into my account last month. So this is one of our savings accounts. This one currently has $329,000 in it. And do you see how much interest that I made? This is for the entire month. $2.88. $2.88.
I want my $2!
So like many, I got fed up with how little my bank was paying me, and I started to explore other options. And that's when I discovered cryptocurrency savings accounts. And there are a few different ones out there, but the one that I started out with was with BlockFi. So BlockFi is very much like Coinbase in that if you want to buy cryptocurrency, so if you want to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum, they are an exchange that you can buy these coins through them. But they don't have a lot of coins, so they don't have a huge selection. But where they differ is that they have these stable coins that will pay you a fixed interest rate, very much like a bond, or I don't want to say like a CD, like a bank, because there is no FDIC insurance. Actually, there is no insurance whatsoever. But when you think of a stable coin, the stable coin is tied to a currency, a fiat, in this case, the US dollar. So it's meant to be stable and pay you a fixed interest. So with BlockFi, if you open an account with them, make a deposit, and if you don't want to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum, you want to buy something more safer, it's not going to have a lot of volatility, you can put your money into a stable coin. So this is from the BlockFi website. This shows here, if you bought a stable coin, USDC, you put in $1,000 after 1 year, you would have accumulated $89.90. So it's paying you 8.99%, and that is for their stable coins. Now, the other cool thing is that they'll actually pay you interest on your cryptocurrency. So let's say if you do want to buy Bitcoin, you can purchase Bitcoin. And if you want to play the buy and hold route and see the price appreciate, that's great. But while you're also holding it, as long as you're holding it with them, with BlockFi, they'll pay you an interest for your Bitcoin as well, because they're going to loan those out to other institutions, other investors. So it's kind of like owning a dividend stock. You're going to get that appreciation, also get that dividend. But the difference here is that you're earning that interest every single month. So you can see in my BlockFi account, I have earned a total interest since I've opened this account of $9,761.35. For this month alone, I've made $250.68. For those of you that are struggling with math, that is a lot more than the $2.88 that I made from my savings account at my bank. Now, BlockFi isn't the only crypto exchange that offers this interest rate. You can get the exact same thing with Nexo and also Celsius. Now, recently, I just transferred over some assets over to Celsius. And with Celsius, they currently pay 10.02% on their USDC. So you can deposit your money there and not even put it into anything risky like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Shibu, Doge, whatever, and earn 10.02%. And the cool thing about Celsius compared to BlockFi is that they don't pay your interest monthly, they pay you weekly. Check this out. So I literally just opened my account with Celsius last week, and I've just started depositing some of my cryptocurrencies, added some more USDC as well. In my first week, I made $103.41. Right now, my balance there is about $100,000, but half of that didn't even go in until later part of the week. So most of that is off a $50,000 deposit into USDC that's currently paying you that 10.02%. Now, if you have an interest in any of these accounts, Coinbase, BlockFi, Celsius, I'll have a link in the description that you can open an account. Now, the other cool thing about these exchanges is that they have some pretty sweet bonuses. I know right now with Celsius, if I deposit, I think it was like $25,000 in USDC and let it sit there, I think it's for 90 days, they're going to give me $600 worth of Bitcoin. I mean, so basically I'm depositing $25,000, earning 10.02%. And if I leave it there, don't touch it and just earn that 10%, I'll get $600 worth of Bitcoin. I think that's what you call a no-brainer.
Don't think about it.
Okay, on to number 3. So I have definitely made money utilizing this strategy, but this is a strategy that I would not suggest, especially if you are new to cryptocurrency. So number 3 is trading, and not so much day trading. Like, I am nowhere even close to being a day trader, but I have bought and sold different types of cryptocurrencies, and I've sold for a profit. I've also sold at a loss. And when I've done this, I'm reminded that even I and even you, we can never predict when is the high, when is the low. Yes, I've made money, but for the most part, I've got lucky. It's so easy to look at any sort of stock chart, especially any sort of cryptocurrency chart. I mean, look at Bitcoin, look at Ethereum, and see the highs and the lows. And when you look at a chart, you're like, oh, wow, I could have bought it then and sold it then. Like, I could have made 10%, 20%. And I've fallen victim to that. Once again, though, I have made money. How this all started, though, was I ended up buying some Dogecoin, and I purchased that through Robinhood. Now with Robinhood, you know, that is not the place I would suggest to go buying crypto unless you are just getting started, because it's easy to get set up and you can get in to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, etc. But at that time, you know, Coinbase didn't offer Doge, BlockFi didn't offer Doge. So I bought some Doge in Robinhood. So initially when I bought Dogecoin, this was before the huge spike, and I think I picked it up for like 14 cents a coin. And at one time, like, I took a screenshot, I had over a 90 $50,000 profit from a $20,000 investment. Like, that was crazy. But I didn't sell because I was concerned about short-term capital gains. I didn't want to pay 40% tax or more on that huge gain. Well, you know, maybe I should, because that $90,000 profit quickly disappeared. I'm still up, but nowhere close to the $90,000 that I was. And I'm embarrassed to admit this, but at that time, I didn't know that the wash sale rule didn't apply to cryptocurrency. So that means if you bought, say, Bitcoin at 60,000 and it drops to 50, well, you can sell, lock in that capital loss, and if you want to jump right back in, you don't lose that loss, which is a big deal. And I shared this in another video where I talked about crypto tax rules, but for most traditional securities, like if you buy a stock, an ETF, a mutual fund, if you buy it and then it goes down and you sell it, you have to wait 30 plus days, basically a month, before you can get back in. So knowing that, I recognized, wow, I can actually sell off some of my losses, which I did, because I ended up buying Bitcoin and Ethereum when it was 50,000, it dropped down. I ended up selling it, locking in those losses, but then I got right back in so that whenever it did appreciate, went back up, I could then lock in those profits, but not have to pay short-term capital gains. Now, once again, this is a strategy that I would not suggest or recommend. The reason I chose Robinhood is because of the zero commissions. I mean, I'm paying basically no fees on these trades, as opposed to BlockFi, Coinbase. You know, transaction costs for these exchanges can be costly if you're making a lot of trades. But the one thing that I do want to point out, and the reason why I'm so excited about the fourth way I'm making money. So whenever I bought Bitcoin for 50,000, it dropped down to 29,000. And I told myself that I wanted to get back in at the bottom. I didn't know when the bottom was. And if I'm being honest, when it got down below 30, I remember the day it got down to $29,000 again. But all of a sudden, all these headlines saying that Bitcoin's going back down to 20, it's going back down to 15,000. I started to lose confidence. I started to freak out, and I didn't get in at the bottom. Now, luckily, I did get back in, did not get back in at 29,000, got back in at 42,000. So I did lock in that loss, and it has appreciated, because once again, at the time of this recording, Bitcoin is trading around 57,000. So I got that loss, got that gain, but I could have made a lot more. And it's just a reminder that emotions get in the way. The more that you can remove your emotions, remove your own feelings when it comes to investing, the better off you're going to be, which is a perfect segue to number 4. Okay, on to the fourth way that I'm making money with cryptocurrency. And as I mentioned probably a few times in this video, this is the way that I'm really excited about. Now, this is relatively new. I've been testing this out for just about a month. And the way that I was introduced to this, I have had a few buddies that are both interested in investing, interested in cryptocurrency, and somebody shared this with them, and they started testing it out, and they started seeing some really nice profits. So the fourth way is grid trading with bots, which is crazy for me to even say that out loud. I've never been interested in day trading. I recognize, like, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time to sit there behind your screen and day trade, watching the charts, watching all the different trends, you know, setting up your limit orders. I mean, it's a ton of work. So whenever my friends were talking about this whole grid trading, I'm like, that just sounds like a lot of work. But when I realized, after they shared this and I did my own research, that once you do a little bit of research, set up these bots, they do all the heavy lifting, they do all the work, and it truly is passive income. So let's jump over to my screen real quick so that you can see my bots in action, see money being made as I'm recording this video. All right, what you're looking at right now is a behind the scenes look at my bots in action. This is a software program called Bitsgap. And if you want to do any research on grid software, bot trading, there's tons of stuff online. There's tons of other YouTubers that are doing this. So you can go do your own research and check that out. but I just want to show you what is going on. So some of these I have set up relatively new, and also I want to just give you some context here. So when I started this is when Bitcoin hit an all-time high, 67,000, and it dropped, about 10,000. So one of these bots that I set up, you can see here, is down, percentage-wise, is down 7%. But that's not because the bots aren't working. That's because at the time, Bitcoin and Ethereum both dropped. So what you're seeing here is actually what's called a hodl bot. We've got both Ethereum and Bitcoin. So principal, yes, I am down 7.6%, but I've made 1.99%, just under 2% on the bots. And you're probably like, okay, well, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean you're making money on the bots? So essentially what it is that you can look at all these different lines here. We've got the green lines and the red lines. And every time you see one of these little circles here, that is a transaction. That's either a buy or a sell. So essentially, whenever you set up these bots, what is happening is that there are all these different limit orders that are being placed. And the idea is that there are buys and sells. So as this thing, whatever the bot that you set up, so that could be any one of these different coins. But when it goes up a fraction, you're going to sell. As it dips, you buy. So you're making money on the volatility of the cryptocurrency. I kept asking myself, like, how do I capitalize on the volatility? I'm looking at Bitcoin, I'm looking at all these coins going up and down all the time. Like, there has to be a way to profit. Hence, grid software setting up these bots and letting the bots do the work. So let's look at a few more. So here's one that I set up. This is STORG. This one was set up 8 days ago. So this one is relatively new. So on the principal, I've made 3.17%, but on the bots, I've made over 10%. So $520. So each of these was about a $5,000 investment, just to kind of give you an idea. And that's just how I've decided to test this out. Yes, that's kind of what was recommended to me, but that's how I want to do it myself. But once again, like, I've made 10% here, 3%, so like almost like a 13% return in a fairly short amount of time. And that's just letting the bots do its thing. So once I set this up 8 days ago, I've not gone on here and tweaked anything. I've not made any adjustments. Every time I log in, I'm just taking a look to see how much money that I have made. So even at a time when cryptocurrency has been, for the most part, down. So you can see here, right? My principal is down. I'm down 900, but my bot profit is up. I'm up over $1,600, 4%. So just imagine if you are subscribing to the whole buy and hold strategy. If I were to buy any of these cryptos, like buy Bitcoin, buy Ethereum, and it's down, well, if I'm just buying and holding, I'm just waiting for it to go back up. But utilizing this strategy, whenever it's going up in price, up and down and up and down, and I'm making all these little minor purchases and sales, all these little transactions, I'm locking in this profit and I'm making money, even when the coin is sitting flat. So as of right now, I've put in about $40,000 into this, testing this out. I wanted to test this out. I mean, one, for my own benefit, but also I know that many of you would have some interest in how this works. I mean, if you can set something up, generate passive income and not have to do a ton of work, I mean, that's one surefire way to build wealth. So this is all relatively new, so I can't speak as like I'm an expert on this by any stretch, but I've had enough money in here where I can see how it's working. I can see the potential. I have other friends that are also going through this as well. And if you're interested, there's actually a great training. So I hopped on a webinar. The guy who actually taught this, his name is Dan Hollings. Wasn't really sure who he was. A good friend of mine referred me to him, his webinar. I checked it out, and after the webinar, I was like, yeah, like I'm at least interested to find out more about it. But like anything else, like I'm always a skeptic. Like I'm always a skeptic. Never want to suggest anything to anybody if I haven't put my own money to work and tested this out. but it's relatively, once again, about a month in, but I'm getting ready to transfer more money in. One of the cool things about Bitsgap is that they have a demo option. Actually, let's take a look real quick so you can see it. So this is the demo option. And with the demo option, you can set up different bots if you want to test them out. So here are some of the bots I've been testing out. We've got some leverage tokens, leverage coins, other bot pairings, and basically you can see, how is it doing? Like, here's some ones I've been testing out for 11 days, 18 days. And when I'm seeing like a 7% return on the principal plus 9-10% on the bot, so that's giving me confidence where I now like, okay, yeah, like I feel good about this. I feel good that I can, put some real money into this, and instead of doing play money, let's go to the real money to get this money to work, so that it's not just sitting there making nothing.
How he brings home the bacon.
Now, it's not as simple as just picking some random bots. Like, there is a bit of a science behind it. And with Dan Hollings, so going through his training program, like, I had to sign an NDA, so I can't really share like all the different nuances of how do you pick bots, like how do you determine the ranges and all the different levels. Like, that all came from him, so I got to give him credit. But if you are interested, he has a training, and it is well worth your time. If you are excited about cryptocurrency, if you think this is the way of the future, way of the present, if anything, get yourself educated, learn how it works. Don't be a critic, don't be a skeptic, become interested, become educated, educate yourself. I'll have a link in the description, and as far as like a link goes, let's just go ahead and go with Wealth Hacker Labs /the plan. So once again, that's Wealth Hacker Labs /the plan. I'll have a link to that in the description if you want to check it out. It's a free training, a free webinar. You'll learn more about his program. And once again, once I learned more about it, I was all in. Like, I was all in, I am all in. And one of the main reasons why I haven't been cranking out a lot of videos over the last few weeks, because I've been in this, learning it, and I've been super excited. And once again, having other friends go through it as well, that's just giving me more encouragement. And we're texting each other, we're messaging each other, sharing like, hey, have you seen this? Did you take a look at this? Like, so it's awesome having friends, a group of friends going through this, and it's been a lot of fun. It's actually been more fun than I thought it would be. I mean, talking about grid bot trading with cryptocurrency, I mean, dear Lord, who am I? Anyway, once again, if you're interested, check out that training with Dan Hollings. I have a link in the description. Get yourself educated. All right, y'all. Until next time, this is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Until then, peace.